Good afternoon. I'm Craig Lester from Rural Roots Canada. We have Dr. Elizabeth Homerosky, chair of the Canadian Beef Industry Conference, on the line with us this afternoon to talk to us a little bit about the upcoming conference here in Calgary, August 14th to the 17th. Elizabeth, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and about the upcoming conference.
Like you mentioned, my name's Elizabeth. I am a partner veterinarian at Veterinary Agri-Health Services just north of Airdrie. So we specialize in just cow-calf and feedlot production medicine. And then I'm also a rancher myself. So I run some cows south of Cremona. So I was very honored to be invited to chair this year's conference. As you mentioned, it's taking place in August. So we've got our tour set for August 14th, the conference August 15th through the 17th in Calgary, Alberta. And this year's theme is We Are Beef, so very fitting for Calgary, Alberta.
Great. So tell us a little bit about the highlights this year.
So I think the big draw is always the keynote speakers, right? So this year we're kicking off our event with Brian Burke and Cherie Copithorne-Barnes. So they're going to have a very engaging fireside chat to start off our conference. And then our closing keynote will be from Diana Rodgers. So she's with Sustainable Dish and really playing off our theme. She's going to talk about how well-managed grazing animals help improve our ecosystems and then also contribute to a well-balanced diet. And then on the entertainment side, our committee really hit out of the park this year. They are partnering with Lamleys to bring in Bullfighters Only event, which is the same that you'd see in Vegas and the other big rodeos around the world. So this is a really exhilarating event where it's just bullfighters. They're given 1 minute on the arena floor to kind of show off their skills, and they'll do flips and turns and showcase their skills around the bull. And so it's for sure with supper, drinks, and everything else they've got lined up, it's going to be a fantastic Thursday night and conclusion to our conference.
What do you hear from producers every year about this conference?
Networking is the big one. And for me too, some of these people all across Canada, I don't get to see a lot in my day-to-day work. And so to have this conference where we all come together, get to spend a few days with each other is really fantastic. It's great to sit across the table from other producers, industry professionals, share ideas, talk about things that we learned at the conference, talk about things that are working on our own operations, things that aren't working, and just kind of, share stories that way. And then it's neat to see some of the new technology that's coming down the pipeline as well. So the trade show is always something special.
I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, I can remember the first one I went to, the first one in 2016. It was held at the Grey Eagle here in Calgary. And just in regards to the amount of information and networking that was going on at that first one and how it's built since then. How does this conference separate itself out from others?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I was at the 2016 one as well. I was part of the CWEL program, and we were the first class to graduate. And so when I think about how far it's come from that first year, it's really amazing what the founding partners have been able to do. I think one of the things that differentiates us from other conferences is that we have all those stakeholders at the same place. We have producers, we have researchers, we have veterinarians, we have both cow-calf and feedlot industry people. We have students. There's, with CYL and YCC, there's a whole youth delegation there. And so I think that's really unique. You don't always find that diversity of an attendance at other conferences. And the other thing I really love about the Canadian Beef Industry Conference is that we kind of take the sessions outside the conference room, if you will. So this year, we've got some fantastic sessions lined up that are going to take place in the Nutrient Center there at Calgary Stampede Ground. So one is a stock dog demonstration. So we've got Jolie and Marcel Vermette from Ranch Dog Inc. and Peter Gonnet from Gonnet Ranch coming to do a demonstration with their world-winning stock dogs on how you can use dogs effectively on your operations to help improve low stress handling, and have a more efficient operation overall. So that's really cool. We're also going to do a producer boot camp this year. So we'll have close to 20 different sessions set up, and you can just kind of circulate through all the different booths and learn how to implant, how to operate a dart gun properly, how to ground your fence, how to sample a bale. So many different things that could really help you on your operation. You're going to get hands-on experience doing that. And so all of these things, I think, really help make this conference pretty unique.
This is fantastic. You're outlining all these different things that producers can take back. Right now, one of the issues, as you know, that producers are facing is drought. And so what can they take away from this conference in regards to drought management?
Yeah, so I mean, I think a lot of provinces do a fantastic job of outlining resources for ranchers in their particular areas. But one of the things we're doing this year with the Bow of Innovation session is we're bringing in Dr. Bree Kellen. And so she's going to focus on alternative feeding strategies. So what crop residues or other forages can we graze through the winter? Maybe what other alternative feeds are out there to help lower our winter feeding costs, because everybody knows that feed is often our most expensive input cost on the ranch, right? And so that's going to be a really big focus of this year's conference. And so I'm really excited to hear from Dr. Bree and what recommendations she has for all of us as we face this winter.
So you've been to a couple of these. Do you have any tips and tricks for first timers or people that want to get a little bit more out of the conference?
Yeah, so it can be overwhelming, right? There's going to be several hundred people there, and there's so much to see. So the best place to start off is to visit the app. So when you register for the conference, you'll be given a link to download that, and it's going to have all the details about what's going on, when and where, and will also allow you to interact with each of the speakers. So if you want to ask a question, you can just plug it in there and you can send it anonymously to your chairs, and we're going to ask those questions for you. So that's a great way to get engaged. I'd also just encourage everybody to just sit down at a table and meet some new people. Nobody knows if you're there by yourself. And so every time, every lunch, every supper, I always meet somebody new, and you get to talking. And it's such a small world. You always figure out, oh, we know this person in common, or we both worked at this place for a while. And so it's kind of it's a really invigorating, but it's also a really humbling experience to realize what a close knit the Canadian beef industry really is.
Awesome. And Elizabeth, thanks for walking us through all of this. Anything you'd like to add, and how can people register?
Yeah, so you can go to our website, CanadianBeefIndustryConference.com. All the details are there. In closing, I'd just like to thank, first and foremost, the founding partners for bringing this vision to life, and then also the sponsors. So without them, we would not be able to put on such a great program. So most of the committees are run by volunteers, and so having that sponsorship is really important. So hope you all can make it. If you have any questions, check out the website for more details, and hopefully we will see you in Calgary in a few weeks.
Elizabeth, thank you so much for all your time today. And as we've been talking about, everyone get over to the Canadian Beef Industry Conference's website and get yourself registered and take part in this great event that takes place August 14th to 17th.